I'm Dan Boerman, a Kiwi comedian who recently moved to London to pursue stand-up comedy. And every week I'll be chatting to folks here in the Big Smoke who are getting after it themselves. This is Big Pond. It's one of the better ones. I want to chat about you, lead singer of Dartz, Wellington band. I'm a big fan. I want to chat about the origins of kind of starting out for you and just kind of maybe go from there. Where you went to high school up north?
Yep, I went to Pairo. I grew up in Pairo, so I went to high school in Pairo. Smart boy at high school? I think I was good at the things that I was interested in and really bad at things I was not interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
deputy head boy.
Yes, I was that. But it's pretty easy to be deputy head boy when there's only like 30 people in your year.
Only 30 people in the year, deputy head boy. You posted a picture up on Insta a few days back with the emo fringe.
Yeah, I was deep into that.
How good, man. How long did the emo fringe last?
I think it lasted until my first year in university when I went to Auckland and I realized the whole emo thing was like 2 years been and gone.
Yeah.
Pairo tended to be a few years back in time compared to the rest of the country.
Yeah. I'm from Marnborough. It's a similar buzz there. We only got rid of they only stopped doing the Harlem Shake like 2 years ago, bro. Like it's pretty stuck in the past as well. You were you're the emo fringe yourself. You had a string of emo girlfriends growing up?
Maybe in high school, but not really. I think it was I wasn't emo in spirit, just in the look. I think I was a pretty happy kid. Yeah, I didn't even like emo music. Like it was just I thought that's what everyone was just doing. So I was just train set, just jumping on the train. But no real emo girlfriends.
I had the emo phase as well, dude. I had the proper emo fringe, and I remember, dude, when I was like 12, I was trying to grow my hair into a mullet, and it wasn't growing quick enough. So the photo I put on Bebo was me, and then in MS Paint I drew in the rest of the hair to make it look like my hair was longer. So I had this long, this emo fringe over my eye and the makeup, and then I'd like draw on the rest of the hair in paint. And I had to go to school the next day, get rid of my eyeliner sort of buzz. And I had never worn eyeliner. I didn't know how to get rid of eyeliner. So I used my mum's Jif, the kitchen product Jif, and dude, I tell you, it gets eyeliner off.
I imagine it does. It also cleans stoves.
Yeah, dude, it does clean stove, yeah. You can't clean a stove with nail polish remover, but you get rid of makeup real quick with Jif. Yeah. Which also cleans stoves. You started music in high school. Was when you kind of got into music. You always wanted to do music. When did that kick off for you?
I don't know if it was music that I really liked doing, but I just really loved comedy music and comedy. So Fly the Conchords, Weird Al, Lonely Island. I think the latter of those two were kind of coming out. Yeah. And I just loved how mixing comedy with music. So when I was in high school, I was part of a comedy duo. It's kind of like Fly the Conchords-esque. Yeah. And then from that, I kind of got more into music. But I liked the marriage of those two together. I thought it was quite difficult it was good constraint for writing humor. Yeah. When you're stuck in a time, you got to get straight to the joke. So I really enjoyed that. But so it was more that I like performing than being a musician. Like I can kind of play guitar and that's about it. Yeah. And I'm not the greatest singer. So it was more like the performance than a love of music.
Could you argue it's almost like the brains behind the music rather than the music of the music? It's like the story you're telling, the words that you're saying, the humor behind it. Would you say you leaned yourself more to the creativity in terms of humor than actually, like you say, like you probably, might not be able to sit down a piano and smash out?
I'd call myself a writer more than a musician.
Writer more than a musician. Yeah. Would you do up north? You do performances at high school, like in the cafeteria in the AV room.
Well, Pairo College did not have cafeterias or AV room. It didn't even have a music class or a music room. Barely had a music room.
Oh, so there's hardly even a music room there.
Yeah,
so
you couldn't study. Pairo High School was made as like a Decile 1 high school, so it's
oh really?
Yeah, I said, once you got to year 13, if you got to year 13, it was a very small class.
Damn, so there's no money. The families come from
no, this is a very small town, probably Māori town. So we didn't have drama or music really. But we did. There was like talent quests and things, and we just did those.
Yeah, you do like the rock quest and that.
Nah, that never came through. Like you did. If you need a music teacher to be able to kind of get into that stuff, we had a guy come in and teach guitar once a week, but that's not a music teacher. That's just a guy just making some extra cash.
Yeah,
And so
early like 2011 kind of time, like you say, there was like Flight of the Conchords, musical comedy.
Yeah.
And you did Playing It Strange.
Yeah, we did Play It Strange. I don't know how. I think because the other person in the duo, he was a bit more clued on. Mm-hmm. He was quite involved with church, so he kind of knew a little bit more of the opportunities and stuff through that. So yeah, we submitted a song to Play It Strange, and we won the finalists, which was real cool. And we won
Unreal.
The lyrics for the song won a songwriting lyric award. So
how old were you boys when you did that song?
Would have been 16, 17 when we wrote it.
Yeah.
And I think it was our last year of high school when we won that.
Did you come up for the idea of the duo? Was that in cooking class? Was that the brainchild? Were you in cooking class when you thought of having a duo together?
Him and I were just really, when you meet someone, you're like, oh, like you kind of click and
same humor, same sort of buzz. Yeah.
Just equally motivated. He was like a musician. Like he was very good at composing and very great at doing music. But I think he just didn't have anyone else that wanted to do music. And I was like, well, I would love to do.
Yeah, you want to jump in.
Yeah. And I think he was a bit like, at first, but then got super into what we were doing.
Yeah.
Once we kind of got on the track and
Rihanna's Umbrella Sarsaparilla.
Oh man, that is deep. Yeah, so we tried to do the like musical satire thing at the start because I just loved Weird Al.
Yeah.
And I just but that didn't, you can't really, you have to have a full talented band to recreate those, and Weird Al does it the best,
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, we may try and do originals. And I think he didn't like doing the parodies. Yeah. He was like, no, this is not what I want to do. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
The parody was your gateway into comedy, into music, into musical comedy.
I loved Weird Al.
Yeah.
Loved Mad Magazine. We'll get into Saturday Night Live at that point as well.
You're into Mad Magazines. I was chatting to a comic, Becky Goodman, back in the US. I just haven't been there since I was a child. Back in London, she's from the US. Mad Magazine, what's his name? Alfred, what's the boy on the magazine?
Alfred E. Newman.
Yeah, and there's the what do they call them? The pages that you fold.
Yeah, the fold-ins.
We always had those growing up because my old man was from the States, so we get sent those every month, and we have the Mad Magazine comics, and that was like, did you have an interest in that kind of like political commentary growing up? Were you big on that?
I was not political at all. I had no interest in politics.
Yeah.
That was definitely not at all my interest. Like the Mad Magazine stuff, I like the satire, like the movie parodies and the TV parodies.
Yeah.
Like all the political stuff went straight over my head. And also the ones I managed to get my hands on were all from like second-hand shops and op shops. So they were not at all, hardly ever quite relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was there to read the satirical stuff and the spy versus spy things. And
dude, Spy versus Spy. I had that on PlayStation 2. That was so good, dude. Yeah. Spy versus Spy. That was, that's a real deep cut, that memory. Yeah, the Mad Magazines, the Spy versus Spy. You say Weird Al was a big influence for you. Top 3 bands, would that be Nirvana, Beatles, Weird Al?
Yeah, I think definitely around that age. I didn't really have I didn't have the internet when I was a kid or a teenager. Like my dad did, but my parents are separated, so I only saw him like once a month. So my musical education was super limited. Yeah, like I grew up with my dad's vinyl collection, and that was like the Beatles and the Stones and all that kind of stuff. And then I I knew about Nirvana, but then I listened to Unplugged for the first time. I was like, whoa, this is a bit of me. And then I just when I was emo, I was all into grunge music.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, those were my bands until I finally went to university and just got a bit more of a worldly experience and met friends who had like way more vast tastes in music than me, and just got a nice education through being making friends in university. So at that point, I'd say but Weird Al was always I knew all those songs back to front, and I still have a soft spot. I don't think I would sit down and listen to a whole Weird Al album or anything anymore, but every time I hear a song, I'm like, this is just...
It's very, very smart, eh? It's very smart music. I remember I remember because I'd watch Weird Al on YouTube, and you describing the internet as a place that it used to be a place you'd go to, right? Yeah. You'd go to your old man's once a month. You'd go on the internet, and we'd watch, like your Weird Al videos. You'd play it, and then you'd get half a minute loaded, and then you just wait another 5 minutes, go do something else, watch the rest. I remember a Weird Al video you would have seen. It's like Weird Al shreds. Have you seen that? He's on stage with a paper shredder. Oh, so he's just like slowly putting paper in a shredder. Camera turns around. There's 20,000 people. Yeah.
He's just, like it's music for children, but some of the rhymes and like making the jokes, the punchlines hit so well. And I was listening to a CD, one of his like a couple of days ago. So my friend got it. He's collecting CDs, and he just got a Weird Al one. He put it on. We were having a few drinks, and just some of the jokes, I was like, God, that is so clever. When you can appreciate something landing as well as that. Like even for music for kids, I'm like, some of these jokes are really just banger.
Yeah. Do you find with some of his music, it's like when you watch a movie as a kid and you're watching it as an adult, there's like things in there that you can only get as an adult. You're like, oh, this one's for older me.
Yeah. And also like a lot of my musical discovery was from Weird Al parodying things. So a lot of the songs, like I don't know what the song is. And now 20 odd years later, I'm like, I know exactly what he's. So you'd find out about Michael Jackson Bad from Weird Al.
Yeah,
like I said, I knew about Nirvana through Weird Al, but I was like, I don't like this. I don't like Smells Like Teen Spirit that much. And then when I heard Unplugged, I was like, oh, this is.
Yeah, what was it? Smells Like Nirvana?
Yeah, which is also a very clever way to satirize. That's a clever song.
Yeah.
And I think with that and like Lonely Island and Follow the Conchords, I'm like, this is extremely good music, like in terms of the production and the jokes are great.
Do you think in terms of the trajectory of you getting into music when you were younger, you doing what you're doing now, do you think that arrow being fired, you doing what you're doing, did that path change from there's Flight of the Conchords, there's Lonely Island, that was real big when we were growing up? Has that affected the trajectory that you went on, do you think?
I think that as a songwriter of a lyricist, I think having those as my like childhood heroes and studying those songs back to front and the way that he wrote they all wrote and their timings, I think definitely made me a better songwriter. Like now when Dartz started, I was like putting ejecting a bit more humor into things, but while making them scathing, I was like, this is totally, I can trace this right back. Yeah. And for so long before that, I was in a band before Dartz, and like so many times I was just trying to write like another musician and trying to make serious music, and it just was just garbage. It just sucked. So it's one of those like, if you just do what you know, and speak and like actually write from your own perspective. Yeah, I hate that like advice, but it's absolutely true.
Yeah. Do you find like with the creative process, creativity in general? I've done stand up like 4 years now. If I try and sit down and be like, right, 9 a.m. writing time, nothing's going to come out. I can't. Me personally, I don't know if you're the same. I can't sit down and just write and make it happen. But if it comes to me, I grab it whenever it happens. Have there been moments of inspiration for you where like lyrics, ideas come to you and you're like, oh, my brain's having a thought, I need to get it down? Or are you able to write when prompted?
I'm definitely more of the former. Like something will come to me and then that will just explode into something. Yeah. Like right now we're recording our third album and a lot of the songs or lyrics are half written and I am struggling to sit down and write things, but things like going for walks or doing something that's actually getting my brain active is usually better for the writing process. And once it is the same, like you said, once a thread is pulled, the rest of the whole thing comes undone. I'm like, okay, here we go now. I'm on a vibe and I just try and, if that's working, I try to lock into that. But yeah, sitting down, I'm just easily distracted. I'll just Google something else and or go online shopping or just lie down and doom scroll. So
end up on the Wikipedia for the history of the parachute and you're like, fuck. Actually, as a segue, and that wasn't even intentional, you played parachute back in the day.
Played parachute twice.
Early 2012, you played there. Now That We're Men. Is that a song? That was one of the songs. Yeah. Now That We're Men, a very, very 2011 song of yours, because the cover for that song was a moustache, which feels very 2011, very like bacon moustache.
We were very, it was definitely, like I said, Paroa was still very catching up with the rest of it. But yeah, Parachute was very interesting. It was like my first ever music festival. Yeah. And obviously, I'm not a very religious person. Yeah. But like I said, my co-bandmate he was religious, and was that the gateway into Parachute, was having a religious bandmate, or? Well, yeah, because you got to apply to play, and then when we applied, and they do like a comedy sets one night, and we got put onto that, it was really fun. Like, it was my first time playing in front of an audience that wasn't people from my high school or people I knew, or just like talent shows.
How big was it, the crowd you had there at Parachute?
I don't know how many people went to Parachute, but we played to I would say to like a room, like maybe we played to like 200, 250 people.
That would have been a real buzz, after just playing to people like at school and that.
Yeah, it was really validating.
Paido to Parachute's a pretty big trajectory in terms of relativity, right?
Yeah.
To go from that to being a stage at Parachute, as still as a teenager as well.
Yeah. It was a weird experience because of like the undertones of what their festival is.
Yeah.
And I was like a little bit like nervous going into it.
Yeah.
But everyone was super nice, and like there was like obviously the morning prayer and stuff, and I just skipped it.
Yeah.
But like I had a really great time. And like I said, that experience probably definitely was like another one of the, I really love this. I love the feeding off this stuff.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. And then it's like, the first hit and like the addiction starts from there.
Yeah. Was that the year John Key was there?
I have no idea. One of the years, one of the members of Korn who had become a born again Christian was there.
Brian Head Welsh.
Yeah.
I was there. I met him. I was at Parachute. I met, that's right. Yeah, born again Christian. Brian Welsh was there.
I think he's gone back again Christian.
Right.
I think it's
maybe
back in
Parachute
Korn.
did that to him. Maybe it was like, maybe this isn't for me.
This is a low, yeah.
Yeah. There was LMNOP. There was Rapture Ruckus.
Yeah, I had a pretty good time. Like the music wasn't for me. I did see LMNOP.
Yeah.
And I saw like a couple of like the emo Christian rock bands, and I was like, this is like not my kind of music, but I can appreciate it. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
I saw them, and like my friend who I went with, and like a bunch of his friends through church who also went to our high school I knew that I was friends with, all like were like, you got to come see like this is, and I was like, I have no idea what any of this is.
Yeah.
I know LMNOP, and I know the one guy from Korn's going to be here.
Dude, I met, I think his name's Dave Gibbon. Dave
is the nicest dude ever, man.
Is that what's his surname? Dave?
I think it's Gibbons or
Gibson.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, I was lucky enough to meet him. He's a super nice dude. Bro, I was 16. I gave him a business card. And I was like, I'm a drummer. If like anything happens to your drummer, like hit me up. Looking back, like this guy from like at the time and still one of New Zealand's like biggest, coolest rock bands is like, there's this weird, sweaty, fat kid at fucking Parachute that met me. I'm going to give him a call because we need a drummer. A couple bits I want to ask you, bro, but before that, just circling, I'm not going to say circling back, dude. I haven't worked in an office for a year. I hate myself that I nearly said circling back. But
that's your podcast host now.
Dude, it was going to happen. I didn't even buy this equipment. I just turned 30, and as a white guy, you wake up, it's just in your room. And I was like, it just happened to me.
I was going to say, isn't it either stand-up or podcast?
And I'm doing both, dude. Yeah, I just, it's pretty bad, man. It's like skin elasticity. You hit 30 and you're like, guess this is me now. Christmas is around the corner, dude. I wanted to get you something. I got you a gift. I got you a book. I know you were talking about cooking class. I got you a cookbook that you might enjoy, and that's yours to keep. And
I think I know what book this is.
What book's that? That's Al Brown, Kiwi Chef.
Sure is. Does it still have the CD? Oh, it does.
Tell me about the CD and Al Brown's cookbook and why that's significant.
Oh man, you nardwired me, man.
Yeah, I did nardwire you, bro. I'm trying so hard not to like nardwire people when I chat to them, but that is exactly what I did.
Yeah. So when we won Play It Strange, we got to record the song that we submitted in a professional recording studio, which was Roundhead.
That's up in Auckland, eh?
Yeah, it's one of like the most famous recording studios in New Zealand. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful recording studio.
Alien Weaponry recorded there with the bro from She Had. Am I thinking of the same Roundhead?
Yeah.
It's the studio, right? It's sick. So you recorded up there as teenagers.
Yeah, man. It was like one of the third time I've ever been to Auckland as well.
Yeah, nice.
And it was so cool. Like obviously I knew nothing about music and recording music. Like for my friend Mike, his name's Michael. For Michael, it was like a great experience. Like he got to be in a studio. This is what he wanted to do. He played all the instruments. All I did was sing half the
sick
songs. And I don't know how. I think Al Brown.
Yeah.
I think he wanted to have like a song because I think with this book there's like a recipe from all like the main different parts of New Zealand.
Yeah, it's like a soundtrack, isn't it, that you cook to?
Yeah,
and your songs on the CD.
Yeah, and so like I don't know what
Is there a recipe against the song that you
There
made?
absolutely
Is
is. I think a song goes for each recipe, but I don't know.
Dude, I reckon I think you got to make that recipe one day. You've got to like re-release that song and make the recipe and just have your pavlova.
I think we might be the Coromandel. But we're
Also, it's themed based on where you're from.
maybe. Or
So
maybe we
you are
won't.
the sounds of Paidoa is you and the bow.
It's I'm gonna now want to find it. But yeah, I feel like my mum might have this book. But yeah, no, I haven't. But yeah, so we won that, and I think Al had this idea for this cookbook, and then next thing I know, we were in this cookbook, and it was when you do study or start a job, and everyone's like, name 3 facts about you, and one has got to be fake.
Yeah.
I always put this one, and everyone's like, oh, you're not in a cookbook singing. I'm like, nah, man, I am in a cookbook singing about whales.
That's so niche. Yeah, singing about whales, singing about a woman who likes to draw whales.
Yeah, so the story behind that song is I had this crush on this girl who just started our school.
Yeah, who definitely was an emo. Non-emo girl.
She might. She liked Linkin Park a lot.
Emo leaning.
Yes.
Emo curious.
Because I pretended to like Linkin Park for her, and I didn't like Linkin Park.
Oh, dude, we've all, I've been there as well. I pretended to like Fall Out Boy for a woman. I bought the CD and everything. No cookbook, bro, just music with that one.
But yeah, but like in classic like teenager fashion, I was like, I'm in love with this person.
Yeah.
But I knew nothing about her. All I knew is she would like doodle whales and like Linkin Park.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, this is how love works. This is the foundations of any good relationship. And then I was like, oh, that's actually kind of a funny premise for a song. It's like a love song based off only knowing this one fact about someone. And so I rewrote that.
It feels like a very teenage romance, and I've had one myself that I even wrote about in my Edinburgh Fringe show this year. A woman that I was mad for when I was a teenager. Do you find like when it's the first person you've ever loved, you just love them like super intensely, like disproportionately? They just like did she just like consume your existence? You're like, I'm gonna marry her.
To be fair, it was just
maybe it's just a me thing.
Just no one, and you never really got. You knew everyone that you went to high school with. You knew. Yeah. And Paidoa, you already knew them from like...
Yeah.
So when someone new comes in, you're like, God, this is love my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how that song came to be. And then, we end up in a cookbook.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Now, I put 2 and 2 together, embarrassingly recently. Yeehaw the Boys, also your gig, cartoonist, in addition to being the singer of Dartz.
Yep.
Which one came first?
I've been drawing comics since I was like 5.
Yeah.
Like, I loved comic books. And then when I found out you can do it as a job, I was like, this is all I want to do. And so I just drew comics and would get them out at like school, then in high school. And then it kind of stopped when I went to university, but I did some stuff for Cracker magazine. And then that kind of reignited it. And then I think when I moved here, I was just like, I was dating someone and we both, and I didn't know about Zine Fest, and she's like, oh, you should do Zine Fest. And I was like, sick, we'll sit down and both make.
Is it Zine Fest?
Zine Fest.
I've been pronouncing it Zine Fest, bro.
Oh man, you gotta be careful. You don't want to roll in those groups. And
yeah, dude, that's not the room to be, the crowd to be mispronouncing
it's short for, it's like a shortened version of, because they're tiny magazines, so Zine Fest.
Dude, I'm one of 10,000 today. I've just made that connection.
No, I think a lot
as
of people,
a magazine, not as in a magazine.
No.
Wow. Okay. so you've been doing cartoons since forever.
Yeah, man. That's all I loved. It just was my dream job.
Yeah.
And then it was like that and music, and now I both kind of get to do both. So kind of accidentally all worked out.
And doing it for like on the spin-off.
No, not for the spin. I've done like 1 or 2 things for them.
Oh, okay.
It's mainly from like I have a Substack that does pretty well, and then just commissions, and I've done things for like stuff. I've done a lot of work for this year for Greenpeace. So
yeah, so
it's just like any freelance jobs, whatever just comes in.
Yeah,
and then like release a book every now and then, and that kind of helps out, gives me a little good bump as well. So it's just hustling.
Yeah, so
but it's like what I love to do, you know.
And when I look at your cartoons, when I listen to your music, it's like very much a band from Wellington. There's those like progressive, pro the people values. I mean, there's fucking songs about the landlord falling down the stairs. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say your lyrics back to you and fanboy harder than I already have, bro. But do you find it is very punk and very rock? Like would you say that the music you're doing lends itself to those beliefs? and to those views that it is very punk to be anti-landlord. It is very punk to have those progressive values, that whole ecosystem.
I don't know if it's fair to say those things are punk. Like, those are just experiences that I've had and that people have had. I think it's just like this is what I've experienced. And then it's just that form of music is a great way to express that and just to get the message across. But I think I wouldn't even call us punk really, because the punks would also disagree with that.
Yeah,
but
and not that I am calling you punk, but those you might agree those views are.
Yeah, I think
punk circles will have progressive views as well, right?
I would say, you wouldn't hear Taylor Swift singing about landlords probably, or like a pop artist singing about landlords, but
that would be fucking hilarious though if she did, if that was her next album, if Taylor Swift just did like an anti-landlord album.
She probably is already a landlord, so it could be a different perspective than ours.
Yeah. Dude, I want to see the fucking Taylor Swift anti-landlord tour, just to completely 180. She marries old mate and just goes all hard out on us. How do you guys are like moving to Melbourne? Have moved to Melbourne. You're based around the place, but Melbourne relocating.
Yep.
I had a conversation with a pal in Melbourne. First time going there at the start of the year. We're chatting about darts. He said he was a darts fan. He's like, oh, they're so cool, man. But I'm in Melbourne and they're in New Zealand. And it was the day that you had put moving to Melbourne up on Spotify.
Yep.
I was like, well, don't I have a fucking treat for you, bro? I got something for you. What would it take in New Zealand for bands to not have to move overseas, for comedians to not have to move to London? Can people do music full time? Can people fucking still hit the top here? Or do bands have to move to Melbourne? Do people still have to go to the UK? Why do people have to move overseas?
I think there's two things there's so much you can achieve here. We don't make a living off darts. Like, darts is, I would say, at this current stage, it's very self-sufficient. Like, all my international travel is being paid for by Dartz, and like accommodation, food, and everything's paid by Dartz, and the recording stuff. But New Zealand has some great things for fostering comedy and music, like our New Zealand Air stuff and our creative arts grants, which a lot of countries, including Australia, do not have. But there's just so far you can go. And I think New Zealand, and especially the community of the funding and the arts, want you to do well and want you to leave and fly the nest and then come back and be able to be like, put New Zealand on the map. It's like investing in that. There's also like things, obviously, it's hard to be a struggling musician or artist when groceries are so high, when rent's so high. But I wouldn't say that's necessarily just a New Zealand specific issue. I think I can only imagine living in London is not a walk in the park in terms of finances. And Melbourne's not. Is about the groceries are much cheaper, but the rent's the same as it was here, if not a little bit higher. So, but I think being able to have the experience of doing your craft and honing it outside of the New Zealand safety net is something everyone should do. I think it should be a natural stepping path. But it's just, if that rug gets pulled out from below when you're already trying to start out in New Zealand, which I've slowly been kind of seeing and worried about, then I'm like, well, you're never going to have your Beths and your Farley Concords and your Bennies and your Lords and stuff. So, yeah.
Something I see happening in London, and I imagine exists in Melbourne as well, is I know in London there'll be comics who do it full time and they don't have a job. And I'm kind of like, how do you do this? It costs 2,000-3,000 Kiwi a month just to rent a room here. How are you doing this? And you Google their name and you go, oh, you are from unbelievable money. Yet those people sometimes cosplay as working class. I've seen it in Melbourne. I've seen it here.
Yep.
Do you find that frustrating? Like, I'm from Martinborough pre-gentrification, right? You're from Paeroa, from backgrounds that aren't from a great deal of money, and you're doing art from a working class background. Do you find it challenging to be up against people who are like, hey, I'm working class too, when they're maybe just in it for the fashion? Maybe they're just doing it as an identity, because if they wore Ralph Lauren, they'd get kicked out of the mosh.
I haven't really encountered it a lot.
Am I just projecting? Is it just a London thing?
I can see it definitely in the comedy thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes in music, there's a lot of gatekeepiness around. And I've definitely like seen bands I'm like, But there's like such a fine line of like, usually you can tell And I think most listeners can tell if you kind of get
when they're just helicoptering into Valhalla, you're like, oh, he fucking
So I think people are smart enough to be like, this is not who you are. And like I said, when I was in a band before Dartz, I was thinking about things I had no freaking idea about, because you just it's when you start thinking about what you know, people are like, okay, I generally believe this guy instead of a cosplaying thing. But I think there's like the one thing I'd be like, oh, is when you get more success and you're still kind of like just thinking about stuff. I'm like, well, come on.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, right? When you're like in a position where you're then like fucking, you're doing pretty well and you're still being like super. I remember hearing the phrase trust punk many years ago. Have you heard that? Trust punk, that's still just hilarious to me, right? There you go, your crust punks, and then there's punks who are just from money, but they want to hang out with the punks. And they're called the crust punks. What you're saying earlier on is that like would you agree you've always just written from a place of like, these are my experiences, this is stuff that's happened to me, here's what I'm going to write about, rather than like, this is a rock band and there's rock band expectations. It's like, this is my truth, this is just fucking what's happened to me and here's what I enjoy writing about.
It took me so long to do that. Like I said, I was in a band before this, and I was just trying to like write as if I was of the bands I was really into the time, and it would show, and it was, we didn't have the confidence would not come through. It was just awful music. Yeah. And it took into like Dartz starting and the time pressure that Dartz's origin had, where I didn't have time to think. Or overthink the lyrics and who was going to see them and stuff. So I was just like, I just got to write it.
Did that help? Because like for context as well, I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, it was a joke band initially, wasn't it?
Yeah, we never thought it was going to do anything.
Yeah. And then trust I'm not speaking out of turn saying joke band, right, of a now successful band, but it was like the Chats, wasn't it? The Chats wanted an opener. Do I have that right?
Yeah, so we were pretty burnt out on what we had done as music before Dartz, and then this came up, and then a friend of ours that I now live with in Melbourne, his band got the opening slot for the Auckland show for the Chats, and they had the contact for the booking agent, and I was like, as a gag, I'll send it to Crispy, who's in the band. I was like, I'll send an email and see if we can just fandangle us the opening slot. And I was like, well, it's got to sound like a band that would suit opening for the Chats. And I was like, well, Dartz. It sounds Australian and punky. So submitted that with like an old song from the band before that was kind of punky, but it still was also just not that great. Yeah. And then, we got it. And we had like a month to form a band and write a set for 30 minutes of originals.
What songs came out of that 30 minutes that we know today? What are the songs that are OG? Was 40 Ritterford in there, or was
40 Ritterford was the first one?
That was the first song.
Yeah, so I stole a line from the shitty song and put it as a chorus. Yeah. And then we just wrote, and we were living in 40 Ritterford Street at the time. We were just finished, had done 6 months stint in that awful house.
Newtown, Wellington.
Yeah, so it was pretty easy to write. And that just came out naturally, and I was like, oh, this is not bad. And then I think we also had a couple of clunkers, which is fine when you had that. But we also might have had, we had 4 a.m., which is okay. And I think even on that first EP, definitely 4 a.m. Oh, man. I pull up my Spotify.
Yeah, do it, dude. 40 Ritterford. I listened to the OG 40 Ritterford a week or two back. Controversial opinion, dude. I like it as much as the new one. I like the vibe of it. I think it's real cool.
Oh, their first recording is not good.
It has
but it does have a very like.
It has the twang that you're probably going for. It feels like an opener for an Aussie pub rock band. Like that's the vibe I'm getting. It feels very like, I don't know, man. I like that it's the recording.
Those recordings are nice in a historical sense.
Yeah, nostalgia and nothing more. Maybe
nice to listen to.
Yeah, nice. Not to be fucking not nice to bring up after we've just toured the UK.
But yeah, I think all the songs on this first No Matter What EP was the set plus I think Hide the Beach and something else.
Yeah.
So the foundations of the songs that we had for at least 6 months were the Chat set.
Yeah, fantastic. And then I guess I'm keen to just, not so much a question as just an idea. Going back earlier, you were saying that about authenticity, right? You were writing about things. There was an expectation you had of what a rock band should write about, and then you started writing about shit that you actually believed that actually meant something, and you feel that there was a shift.
There was a huge shift,
like shift in the energy.
Yeah, like I I liked what I was writing.
Yeah.
I was like, I would listen to this. And I was like, it's also, there's some funny stuff in here. And like, I know. And then I was kind of learning like musically, like, oh, this is going to hit here.
Yeah.
And this is going to be, a crowd's going to instantly get behind 24 beers and 2 free hands, for example.
Yeah.
And then from there, I was like, okay, well, one, this is such an easier process for me to write because I'm not having to like pretend that I'm writing as a different person or writing about things I have no clue about. And so I think it all was just like started snowballing. The biggest thing was like, ugh, if I only known this like 5 years ago, I wouldn't have just wasted 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's an important step. It's good.
Do you write things from the audience perspective? I know Dave Grohl, I guess I'll ask the question properly. Do you ever imagine yourself like 24 beers, 2 free hands, right? You can imagine that being a banger for an audience before you've already played that, right? You know that's going to pop off. Dave Grohl, I forget the song that he had in the mid-90s. He jumped up and down in his bedroom to find the tempo of a song and then wrote it to that to then go and tour it. And first night it pops off. How much consideration do you have for like this is gonna pop off in a club? This is gonna pop off when we tour. When you're
they're
writing
jumping up
stuff.
and down things like a true thing. Like we've written we're writing a couple of new songs now, and like I was like, we need a jump up and down song.
Yeah.
So there's that, and there's this like thing of through lines and like themes and like kind of like the Weird Al thing, like ant landing on a line that's people like, oh, that's a good line.
Yeah,
that's one you know someone's going to yell that back at you one day.
Yes, sir.
And then you just get high on that. You're like, oh, this is really good. I can see this slowly piecing together. And I think it's really fun doing it with the boys as well. I've been like, they'll dissect my lyrics and be like, this is not the line before the chorus. You need a better line. I'm like, you're wrong. And then we'll think of something and I'll think of it. And I'm like, you're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you know, and with Dartz for the last 2019 you boys formed?
Yep.
So it's like 6-7 years in the band. That 6-7 mention's gonna fucking pop off with the Gen Alpha listeners. You when was the moment? When was that first lyric that you wrote when you talk about like, yep, this is me, this is coming from a place I believe? What was the first line where you remember being like, this is I'm in the flow state, I'm doing the thing now. This is what I believe in. What was the first line? What was the first song where you're like, oh yeah, this is authentically me and I actually like fuck with this really hard?
I think 40 River Street would be the best example because there's a few lines in that verse that are like blistering, like how I was feeling.
Yeah.
And then they're like realizing that we were going to call up 40 River Street and knowing full well that I didn't know at the time, but like when it started doing well and people would apply for the house and be like, wait, is this the house?
Dude.
So knowing that we might have even caused that landlord treated us so badly and like given him even a little ounce of like annoyance, I'm like, that's great.
That's so cool, dude. That feels like such a Kiwi litmus test for that creative success that people are like, we want to be in the it's like, I don't want to draw a comparison to the 660 house, but it's a house and it's a song and people make that association. The authenticity buzz is interesting, man, because I've found that with comedy as well. Probably only the last year, maybe even Edinburgh Fringe a couple months ago, where it's like I go up with my idea of this is a comedian, this is what a comedian says. And then, dude, there were days at Edinburgh Fringe where I'd just crash out. A set wouldn't be going well, and I'd be like, remove the fourth wall. I'd be like, right, I just want you guys to like me and think I'm cool. I'm like, that's the only reason I'm here. I want you to like me and think I'm funny, right? Here's how I'm doing. Here's my deal, and that would pop off more than any set I'd done because there was so much honesty in what I was doing. Do you find can audiences and consumers of your music do they see and appreciate that honesty? Do you think they like your music more because they're like, they mean this? This is very real what I'm listening to.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think people just shit experiences. Everyone's in the same kind of shit heap. And I think just mixing that with like having a good time. Like, I think I've always been like conscious of making sure we're not coming across too heavy-handed as well.
Yeah. What would too heavy-handed look like for you? What are you avoiding doing? What do you not want to do?
Just preaching about things or like kind of talking down to people. Like I want everyone to be able to listen to Dartz and maybe pick up on things or pick up things later.
Yeah.
Like I said, I come from a small town. I don't want to be like everyone from a small town's a racist piece of shit. I want to be like, there are great things about living in a small town.
Yeah. But most of them happen.
And some characters, people in small towns can have incorrect views on things, but there are socio-economic reasons and to how they got there, that's not necessarily their fault. And so if people I don't want to go to a small town and be like yelling through as a punk, being like, you motherfucking, I want to be like, this is how we feel while we're having a good time. And if you're learning some lessons from that, that's great. And that's kind of what I want. I want it to be accessible more than like talking down to people. And there was a few songs when Dartz first started, and now I'm like, that's a bit naff. So, but it's like it's a learning thing. And there are other bands that do that preachy stuff that I appreciate, and they do that and that great. Like Idols, for example. But even that, sometimes you can be like, get a bit exhausted. So like I've always, kind of keeping that balance. And I think that makes it more accessible to an audience instead of just being like doing the whole bubble thing where you're just yelling at people that agree with you.
You make a real interesting point as well, because I suppose, and tell me if this is the same for music, that it's like you're almost balancing, this is us, this is me, this is my message, this is what I believe to be true, this is my view of the world, but also we want everyone to have a real fun time, right? Like I'll do stuff in my comedy, like here at Kevin tonight, I'll be doing stuff that'll be maybe politically it's one way, it's like these are my beliefs, but it's like I don't want to go too hard out on a point because at the end of the day, they're here to have a good time, right? I find when I've seen you folks live, that's if there's one takeaway for me from the gig above the messaging, it's like we're here to have a good time. It's like a party above everything else. Is that the intention, or did I have the wrong takeaway?
No,
the having fun element.
We're there to let loose. We're there to let loose. Everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
As long as, obviously behave and not be a dick and stuff.
Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to gatekeep Dartz.
Yeah.
I also will be like, call people out if they behave in a certain way, or if I'm like, they're completely missing the messaging. Like sometimes like when you're shouting 24 beers through your hands, sometimes you do drag in a different type of audience. Yeah. But then I think sometimes if they're sticking around, they're listening to stuff, they were like, oh. Yeah, so I think definitely want people to come and have a good time. Maybe pick up on some of the messages, but not feel like they've been talked down to or preached at.
Would you agree with the idea, and this is just a me idea from listening to your music, it's like it's like pub rock, but almost like a new breed of like, it's almost like non-toxic pub rock if you think about it. And the reason I say that is you think about like Earn the Thirst. The messaging there to me isn't just get fucking shit-faced and black out and die. It's like there's like licks of that almost like positive body messaging that like I'm going to work out, then I'm going to have some beers. I'm going to fucking go for a jog and then have some beers, earn the thirst, right? Do you think it's almost like a better variation of that 80s fucking AC/DC get high, pass out messaging? It's almost like a new variation of that. Or am I just reading too hard into that?
Clark, who writes all the music, like his DNA's in like that 80s AC/DC kind of Van Halen stuff, and he loves it. And I love like the pub rock scene and the stuff we've done. And also that scene's just full of so many lovely people. But yeah, I think a lot of our songs, I like to have a hook that is very just like, could be and has been misconstrued as like the beer drinking band. But then like pepper in message, like themes and lyrics that are very like, not just sinking piss and get on the piss. So like Earn the Thirst has the body positivity message to it. Dangerous Day has a lot of verses about like just general frustrations. And 40 River Street was like for me, that was like, everyone stereotypes young people at university as just like beer drinking gremlins. They have no respect for property. Yeah. So I was like, okay, we'll adopt that message as a chorus. And then the verses are like, you are subjecting people to living in these conditions. And then you wonder why they don't give a fuck. Yeah. It's because they like got the flu every week and living with mold and the earthquake warning signs and needles on the couch and stuff. So it's like also kind of turning stereotypes in on themselves too. push the main point out. So yeah.
You're just holding a mirror up, right? Just kind of going, actually, why do you think people are acting like this? It's because they're fucking living in these conditions. I've got probably another 10 minutes of your time, bro, and it's cool chatting to you and having a yap about this. And as I say, like, it's exciting to chat to a musician because I've done comedy for a few years, but I've been drumming since I was 12. Like, I know more and enjoy yarning more, admittedly, about music than comedy, as much as I love both of them. Shania Twain. Why Shania Twain is the opener? Is that an in-joke I'm not privy to? Does it just fucking pop off as a song?
There's no joke about Shania Twain, man. We love Shania Twain.
Yeah.
Love that song. And we used to have a little sample of it in the 4am song. But like I grew up on those first two CDs of hers. Like my mum, it's like a recently divorced woman. That was like so I knew those songs back to front. I still love them to this day. And it's just it's a great walk-on song, like the first song.
It's so hype, eh?
Everyone gets behind it straight away. So that you're already, it's like having someone like warm up the audience for you.
Yeah.
So people just know that song. Like everyone knows that song. Even if you think you're like a cool punk rocker, you know the you know what's coming. You know those lines, and everyone gets instantly ready to shout and clap, and then you come on, and then so it's like having Shania open for us.
And do you think like you guys, as I was saying before we're recording, what you guys do, I've met you all, you're like super nice. It doesn't come from a place of like ego or thinking you're super fucking cool and very important people. Does it almost set the tone a bit to have Shania Twain as a walk-on expectation setting for people that haven't seen you? It's like, hey, we're fucking man enough to be like, this song's fucking cool. We don't take ourselves so seriously. We can't have an absolute banger pop song to walk on to. Or does it not even run that deep? It's just a cool song.
I would be honest and say it just doesn't run that deep.
It's just a cool song.
It's just a great song.
Yeah, sick.
We've worked on a couple other ones, but it's a really great song to get people ready. Like it
gets people hyped.
Everyone's already.
It excites the whites, that one.
It helps us as well. Like we'll be backstage, kind of shaking off and getting ready, and you can hear people singing it. And you can hear the "Let's Go Girls." You can hear the everything. It's like, okay, cool, they are. And then that gets us excited, and then we're running out there excited from hearing that. They're already hyped up from singing along to Shania, and then we're on in for a good time.
Something you have in music that I'll never have as a comedy frontman of my own show, just me. Something you have is running out and people singing back your songs to you. Of the biggest gig you've done, I'm assuming homegrown crowd-wise is the biggest audience you've had, or you have done bigger?
Maybe it is, but we've opened for some big bands. That might be the biggest crowd that either that or we did Cuba Duper once, and of people that knew our stuff, I'd say homegrown or Cuba Duper was one of the biggest crowds.
Tell me about that buzz. Tell me about, you've got because you have your opening song there, you're warming up backstage. Tell me about like the ritual, the walk on, that feeling. Like what is that like? Doing that, how does that feel? What do you all do? Do you have a ritual?
Yeah, we sing Hangi Tonight by Dennis Marsh.
Sick.
So they do that as a bit of a warm up. Usually just a few stretches, a beer or two, and then just hype each other up and just build off the energy of the audience. And then then it's like it's a job. Like we're here to do this. Yeah, we're gonna get in there and just give it our all. And it's Then when you walk out to those audience sizes and they're singing your songs back, it's thrilling.
There must be a real trippy feeling. And do you think how seriously you take your music and what you do translates to the performance? Do you think that people can tell that you take it seriously in the quality of the performance?
Yeah, and I think we love doing this, even when we're exhausted and like a little bit even like grumpy. Like as soon as you hear a crowd, you're like, okay, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
And then you walk off feeling great, like even better than you were when you walked on the stage. So yeah, I think so.
I was chatting to a comedian a couple of weeks back in London, John Robertson. He runs a show called Dark Room, and it's like based off of like a choose your own adventure video game. And he does like Comic-Con type shows, big crowds. And I asked him, I was like, how are you on when you're having an off day? Like, how do you go up there and do this character and this intense performance when you're feeling off? And he was like, sort of what you're saying. He's like, they've paid for tickets. He's like, they've paid to be there, so you have to give them that.
Yeah. We're the employees. They're the employers is the way I look at it. So if you're doing a shit job, they're not going to come back, or they're not going to want to buy your stuff or support you or employ you. So if you've been on a shit job, if you're wasting their time is precious. Their money is precious. Like Yeah, watch musicians, and I've seen people like just give nothing and act like they're already the biggest rock stars in the world. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, you gotta, yeah. Don't take it for advantage. And I've seen so many people take it for advantage, and it's disappointing. The four of us will, even if we get any bigger than this, I would still be like, there's a reason we do it, and it's that. Playing songs live. The live show is like the thing that we like doing more than anything else. So,
tell me about the balance between being, and this is a conversation I've had with a few creatives, few artists, the balance between being fucking good at your job, being a good singer, being a good songwriter, being a good musician, and just being nice, good people and being good to work with. Because some of the most successful people I've met are the loveliest people that I've met. Comedians, musicians are, like when I meet you guys in Glasgow, you're just like happy to hang out, you know what I mean? What's the balance look like of that diagram? Is it 50-50? Is it more important even than talent to just be nice and not be a dick? What does that balance look like for you and for Dartz?
You're just not going to get invited back to things if you're a dick. And we've experienced shit people in this music while doing this, like shit people. We've experienced shit attitudes of musicians that we were like cool, and then we meet them and like, oh fuck, now that I don't want to be that person. And then we've had the opposite, where my best story would say is we at the end of around this time last year we opened for Dune Rats, which is an Australian pub rock band, and those three are the nicest human beings I have ever met in my life, and then their entire team around them equally as nice, and it was the chillest tour I've ever been on. The greatest crowd, the way they have their relationship with their audience, you can be like, and we walked away being like, that is exactly what we wanted to be. We want to walk away. We want people to walk away with interacting with us as the way that we've just walked away, being like, those are the nicest people.
Yeah,
and you just know that those people, that they get all that support and have that great team around them and get invited to do gigs and stuff. It's because of just how lovely they are. And I think, and especially in New Zealand, like people talk straight away. If you're just like a rude and just like think you're hot shit, like people just be like, I don't want this guy coming, these gentlemen coming back to play here, because that was just an awful evening. Yeah. But I appreciate your time, bro. It's cool. And then when's the third album? I'm just asking for me at this point, dude. When do we expect the third album? It's at some point. Let me see if we can get it finished first.
yeah, nice. Sweet, bro. And how much longer left on the recording?
We've got right up to Christmas Eve. So
how good, bro?
In another week, I think. Yeah.
Sick. Well, wishing you a safe and happy break after the recording, dude. And
thanks, man.
Looking forward to seeing you boys again. And thank you so much for your time. Danz from Dartz, you the man, bro. Thank you.
Thank you, dude.
How good?